Here we go again, I guess. Fucking... minus 13. And the game wasted all of it on the final split by just sheer technical failure. Actually incredible. That's a pretty fucking annoying start to this, huh? Guess it's truly never over until it's over, because this PC port is so goddamn incompetent that it can do that. I mean, what happened like last time I streamed this? I had a run die because the game just decided to get me stuck in the fucking reload animation, also a bug I've never seen it do before. That was a fucking new one. That like actually soft locked the game. For seemingly no reason. Like, there's no input that causes that. That just happened, I guess. I mean, with that, though, I can pretty confidently state that 38-2x is, like, actually sort of on the cards for this. Like, you can do that. I could get 382x if I wanted to grind this out for the next, like, however long it would take me to do that. It seems possible to do that. I don't think I care enough to go for that. Like, at the very least, 38-3x is 100% on the table. In fact, that's more or less my goal. We'll aim for that. If I had a better hotel, if I had, like, better out of bounds, like, that minus 13, like, absent the game deciding to wildly fuck up on the last split for no reason, probably would have done a 38-2x. It would have been, like, minus 17. So that's something. Still plenty of time to save on this, huh? I knew there was time to save on this, I just didn't realize it was like 20-ish seconds. What is my summer best, anyway? Hi, P. What is my summer best? My summer best is 38-12, actually. Okay, that tracks. See, currently I'm just cursing myself that I wish I'd, like, gotten into a rhythm game that's less awkward to handle, because my DDR pad needs surgery. I need pennies. I need more pennies to stick in that fucking thing. To make it more sensitive. It's still a bit, like, not good enough for my purposes. I don't think it's gotten any less sensitive from when I actually put them in the first place, but it's not as sensitive as I'd like it. And despite the fact that, like, I hate having pennies around, but now that I need pennies, I can't find any. I don't have any. I have no pennies. When my parents come up, I'm actually legit gonna ask them, do you have any pennies that you don't need? Like, can I just have them? I need them to fucking stick them in my goddamn dance mat. Because, I was playing for, like... 5 hours, and holy shit, did I get so many fucking pad misses. So many pad misses. It was actually driving me crazy. Like, blatant pad miss. It was super annoying. I know no matter what I do to this thing, I'm never gonna get it as, like, sensitive as a good arcade quality mat going, but I can make it better than what it is currently. Just need more pennies. Right now I've only got pennies on the inner edge of every single sensor. If I can put them on all of them, then that helps. Because then it might be more inclined to register stomps that are slightly off-center. I don't have any pennies. That's the thing, Samilla. I don't have any. I hate carrying around pennies, so when I acquire pennies, I actually just throw them in the bin. But now that I have a need for them, it's like, ah, fuck. What? Pennies accumulate and they don't do anything, so I just get rid of them. But that was before I gained a piece of equipment that benefits from having fucking pennies embedded in it. You can send one to my P.O. box. Yo, I hit 23 again. Godly. You can get arrested for throwing money in the trash? That's dumb. I mean, maybe your country isn't a country that has pennies, a worthless unit of currency that has no functional value. But is made of copper, therefore it's good for electronics. That's the only function it has, is the fact that it's good to slip between the sensors because it makes them more sensitive because it conducts electricity. That's the reason it doesn't work if you do it with a silver coin. Otherwise, I would just use 5p pieces. Because I also hate 5p pieces because they're fucking tiny and stupid. In fact, I actually use like a mixture of coins. When I was like first getting putting some pennies into my dance mat, I didn't have that many British pennies, but I did have like a plenty of Euro cents. And I had a few American pennies, so there's just a mixture of currency inside of my dance mat. It's like, it's all copper. It works. Doesn't matter what coin it is. It matters what it's made of. How much copper in pennies nowadays? Not much, but it's enough. Like, even though a penny is nowadays like 95% zinc more than it is actual copper, the outer shell is really all you care about. Like, there's no significant conductivity difference between a modern penny and an old penny. It doesn't matter. Try it yourself with an ohm meter. I did. Like, all it has to do with the penny here is it just has to facilitate the connection between the sensor and the panel. That's all it's got to do. It's only got to do that once. It only has to do that briefly as well. Well, a penny made more sense back when things costed less money, but now that things cost more money, pennies suck and are useless. Which is, again, why I just fucking huck them straight into the trash 95% of the time. And I don't really regret that decision. It's just slightly inconvenient now where I actually have a physical... And I still don't really want pennies for the money, I want them for their physical property. The money part of the equation is useless. If I could find a round thing made of copper, that would also work. It just so happens that pennies are the exact dimensions that I'm looking for. Like, alternatively, I could just put cardboard squares in there to make it so that, like, the panel is more raised. So that way, when it is pressed, it will make a connection with less force. That is also an option. I don't have any, like, cardboard squares kicking around to do that with. But that's also, like, I don't necessarily need pennies, I guess, but pennies are just the obvious option here, because that's the one I know how to do. I actually know how to arrange cardboard squares to make that work. Like, it's surprising to me how, like, despite these things being giant metal pieces of shit, the underlying circuitry inside of a dance mat is actually super simple. It's just 4 buttons. They're just pressures. You tap it, it completes a circuit. That's it. It's nothing more complex than that. Hello? Camera angle change, please. Also, very excited, because when my parents come over, I will also be getting shelves. Because my mother actually genuinely enjoys putting flat pack furniture together. So I was like, I have shelves. So I'm now going to exploit the fact you're coming over, because I know you'll want to build them. And she will. She will want to build them. She is utterly hopeless. No, I'm not streaming. I'm not streaming my mother building shelves. I don't know if it's going to be enough shelving to fit all my shit. Like, we got like a couple of them. I don't know, like, my mother really is, very much the picture of a stereotypical sort of middle-class white woman. She loves to have a pretty house. She likes to build the furniture. Runs over the kids with a Honda Civic and claims that she can't help being a Gemini, that sort of thing, you know? That's how it is. That's what she's like. Like, every time she comes over, she will clean something. It doesn't matter how clean the place actually is, which, not very, not gonna lie right now, not especially. But it doesn't matter, like, yeah, she likes to keep busy, that's more the thing, Random Shadow, I guess that's more, like, flattering. Which in her case manifests in the form of cleaning and building furniture. When I used to live with my parents, and I always complained about this, because it was really annoying, she would frequently do this thing where she would just rearrange where all of the items in the kitchen were in order to suit, like, a better sorting arrangement, but she would do this just like every couple of months or so, where she would just randomly rearrange everything because she felt the need to do something, and that was just the thing that she did. And as far as I can tell, she still does that. Because every single time I go over there, which is now, like, infrequently enough, such that every single visit, the layout of the kitchen has now changed.
Did you find the lady you're looking for? What's her name? Mary?
She just has to shuffle things around every so often. Which is why every time she comes over, she will just clean something. Because I'm not, like, a neat freak, so there's always something to clean. Like, plus, I live on my own, and I work a full-time job. I don't exactly have, a lot of time on my hands to clean with, he said, streaming a video game. You know what I mean, though. And honestly, at this point, like, the first couple times where she came over and just started cleaning things, I was, like, almost, like, sort of offended by it, because it's like, oi, do you think I don't know how to handle, like, this stuff myself? It's like, do you insult me this way? How dare you? Like, that's sort of, like, obviously it wasn't, like, serious. I wasn't, like, that annoyed by it, but it's sort of like, like, really? Like, really? Come into my house and you cleaned it. Like, thanks, but also weird. At this point, I've just given up. It's like, okay, she's coming over. She's probably gonna clean the kitchen, so I don't have to, lol. Like, that's kind of all that happens when they're actually in my house, is that they're either cleaning or they're building something. I don't know why I'm trying to heal. I didn't pick up a health kit. That's normal with strats. They're either, like, cleaning something or they're, like, building some furniture. Last time they built a chest of drawers just because they had a chest of drawers lying around and they decided to give it to me, but they, like, decided to build it while they were here. Just so they had something to do, I guess, because my place isn't really for guests. Unless you want to play video games with me, and they don't, there's nothing really for someone here. So I'm perfectly content for them to keep themselves busy with that sort of thing, because what the fuck else are they going to do? That's the only thing they do when they're actually, like, in my house. Whenever they're not doing that, we are not in the house. We have usually, like, decided to just leave, like, get dinner or something, purely for the sake of just, not just hanging around in my house for the sake of hanging around. So, we're coming to visit, and it's like, what do you plan on doing? Like, that's so, like, this is the thing where, like, sometimes they're like, oh, are you gonna come home anytime soon to come and visit? And it's like, I mean, it would be nice to visit and say hi, but what would I do? Like, what would I do once I'm done? Joester, thank you very much for the raid. 1:14:30. Is this twins? Is this twins? That sounds like a twins time. Picture my house as the small square. No, see, there's like a kitchen there, there's like a living room there, and there's like 3 rooms upstairs. Either way, congrats on the new PB, Joe. Twins is fucking hard. Yeah, welcome everyone. From Joe's stream. This is Silent Hill 2. I'm trying to go slightly faster and kill my wife quicker than I did the last time. I'm Punchy. I'm that dickhead who was on the couch for Mort the Chicken. That's the only thing anyone knows me for. Crying on the inside. Crying on the inside, dying on the outside. Blech. Pick up the fridge. Nobody IRL has come up to you about what the chicken. Get a very mixed feeling. Can't believe I got recognized at the arcade. Like, that's where that happened. I got recognized at the fucking arcade. Like, why would anyone there have any idea? Like what? Fuck. It's not an existential crisis, it's just the running joke about the fact runs I commentate for are consistently better remembered than what runs I actually do. I think, at least. I mean, really, you could interpret that to think that my couch commentary is obviously so godlike that it elevates those runs to a more inspired plane, but really I think I just know how to pick them. Bonk. Dang, Bryce Q. The person who did the ironic parody dating sims blog post went poggers over me retweeting it. Really? I don't actually know who that person is. I just thought it was a good blog post. Like, I read it and I was like, that's pretty good. This rings true. Do they know who I am? What? Oh, what the fuck? I didn't even look. That's cute. Also, their Twitter handle is High Impact Sex. That's godlike. I did notice that, though, but now you reminded me of it. I'm just like, that's godlike. That's such a godlike handle. Like, I can't believe Twitter even lets you have a name like that. Okay, I actually turned the light off this time. Hooray. I've had to, like, very aggressively click the stick in. So yeah, retweeting by one of the best Silent Hill runners, also a fucking dork who hates ironic dating sims. Hate. Like, that is in the context of a specific game that just came out that I'm deliberately dancing around, like, naming, because I very much agree with that blog post where it's like, not even gonna fucking name the games. Don't wanna. Ain't worth it. It just gives publicity to trash. But in the context of this one game, and I'm still not naming it, I would later find out that this, like, ironic, like, haha, aren't dating sim shitty game apparently took 4 fucking years to make. 4 years. Holy shit. Pick up a football. Do you ever spend 4 years to make a game about how much you dislike a genre? Holy shit. That I just don't get. It's mostly a sibling game as well, from what I can tell. Like, it's most of the art was drawn by the guy, but it was written by the sister. Their brother and sister. It was like a sibling pair who made this game, but it still took 4 years. And it's like, holy shit. Pick up a football. It's like, why? I just don't get it. I don't understand. It's also apparently 12 hours long. 12 hours long of a parody, like, shitty, ironic Western dating sim, because aren't those games so dumb? And it's like, what the fuck? You made a game like that 12 hours long? Why? That's so bizarre. Like, at the very least, most people's, like, shitty, ironic dating sims, they shit them out in, like, a couple of months, and they're, like, an hour long, and they pass over like that. But that's, like, a full-length game that exists purely to mock a genre. The author appears to not be that well versed in. It's like, okay, that's an extremely bizarre flex. That's, like, legendarily bizarre flex. It's like, do I misunderstand the context of this game's creation or something? I feel like I have to, because that's an incredibly sincere amount of effort to put into a game that only broadcasts how much you don't like something. What's the fucking... Like, that's bitterness on a level that I find difficult to fathom, and that has to be indicative of something. But that can't possibly be right. Like, maybe there's something I'm missing about. Maybe there is a deeper meaning to this fucking game that would justify it being the way that it is and having that taken that long. But nothing I saw about it indicated that. It looked like pure reprehensible trash. And that was the trailer. Like, I saw the trailer. That was the thing intended to sell the game to me. I looked at this and I thought, wow, this is the most, like, unbelievably ignorant thing I've ever seen. Nice gold, yo. And I'm still, like... It is weird to hear a rant about a thing you have no context for, but I'm deliberately giving no context because I don't want to name it. I don't want people to be like, oh, this, and then look it up, and then, like, you know, maybe fucking buy it, because they're charging money for it. It's like, nope. I ain't doing it, but I am going to complain about it, but I'm going to be super vague about it. It's not even about one specific game, but, like, 4 years is definitely the craziest amount of time I've ever seen spent on something like that. Like, there are plenty of, like, dumb, ironic, haha dating sims out there. Plenty. The general trend is fucking annoying as shit, and I hope everyone involved in it, like, ironically, I don't know, stubs their toe. Like, it's just video games, it's not that big of a deal. But it's still, like, please stop being a pretentious jackass. It's rooted in a Western arrogance that I find very frustrating. Like, this genre that the Japanese have refined and have liked for several decades before Westerners ever, like, caught up to it. You know, we know how to do it better. It's like, oh, look at how silly this is. You know, it's like, it's rooted in that place, and it's just, shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. It's like, have you ever seen that image of, like, oh, we discovered Korean barbecue in this town? And Lisa's like, before the Koreans? Oh, sure, they make it, but they don't get it. That image is ever fucking green when it comes to these sorts of things. Evergreen image. Simpsons is truly an evergreen kind of show. Hi, Hino. Oh, I'm stuck. Fuck. I don't know, like, this is, it's poor genre literacy. It's poor genre literacy. Like, parody games have merit, but you have to actually know what you're parodying. Whereas, like, the material here clearly doesn't have any idea what it's parodying. It's parodying some notion of a game that doesn't actually exist. It's parodying, like, a fake thing that's made up. And, like, now I'm just sort of regurgitating the article, but that's why I retweeted it, because it resonated, like, strongly with thoughts that I've had. Because, like, good parodies exist. Like, Her Tofu Boyfriend is kind of a parody, but also kind of goes in its own direction. Like, it has its own flavor. Along with, like, the sequence in Gekkan Shoujo Nozuki-kun, which plays out like a fake dating sim within the show. That's very true. Like, that's a parody type thing, but it knows the material that it's parodying, therefore it's funny. Because it will resonate with someone who's actually played what it's making fun of. It's not enough to just go, haha, isn't this whole thing so dumb, but having, like, no specific idea of what you're making fun of. Yeah, Nozuki actually seems to show, like, a genuine reverence and fondness for the game that it's making fun of. Like, it's clearly making fun of Tokimeki Memorial. Hey, pork chops. Yeah, that's quite right, I think, Samila. Parodying something you love is more fun than parodying something you hate. A parody rooted in fondness always has an element of sincerity about it, which makes it sort of endearing. Like, Her Tofu Boyfriend is a parody game, but it's rooted in fondness for the genre and has its own sincerity. That's why it's good, and not stupid. People always like to bring up Doki Doki Literature Club for this, but, like, I don't think that game's ironic. I think it's basic. It's a short, like, experimental kind of game that has relatively sincere intentions, but also displays a sort of, like, general lack of genre literacy. It's not a parody, no. I mean, it's intended to sort of, like, deconstruct the genre, which it kind of, like, whiffs on because it doesn't have a good understanding of the genre it's attempting to deconstruct in the first place. But it's, like, it's sincere and it's not ironic. It's not an ironic game. It's sincere in what it's trying to do. It's sincerely, like, badly educated. But it's, like, not pretending that it knows better, if you know what I mean, you know? So, like, you can give it that. I can give it that, at least, that, like, it's a sincere game. And I like emotional sincerity in these sorts of productions. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, Doki Doki actually... Yeah, and that's the thing. Zoku's quite right. Doki Doki Literature Club is not a dating sim. And neither is Hatofu, really. Westerners have a poor understanding of what actually constitutes the difference between an adventure game and a dating sim, a romance game. Adventure game, visual novel, romance game, like, the Japanese all have words for this sort of thing. Whereas the Western discourse kind of crushes it down into, like, 2 pieces, which is not very helpful. This is why one of my favorite, like, 2 of my favorite Western English language original visual novels are We Know the Devil and Butterfly Soup, because they are sincere. They're also not dating sims at all. Like, one of them involves romance, but it's not a dating sim, it's linear. But they are emotionally sincere productions with funny writing that aren't out to fucking disrespect the medium inherently for no good reason. They're not doing anything, like, super groundbreaking within the confines of that framework, although We Know the Devil at least, like, has some things it wants to do with it. Nothing too crazy, but it has some ideas. But anyway, just fuck ironic games in general. Fuck irony in general. TBH. Just be sincere. Irony is out. Sincerity is in. What is a dating sim? How best to describe that? So, like, most people think it's just any visual novel that involves romance as a theme. That's not the case. Like, if it's just a game where you progress through linearly, but make decisions that sort of, like you pick between choice A and choice B, and that gets you, like, a different girl. That's not quite a dating sim. That's just... He didn't die? Oh, wait, no, he was just taking his time, I suppose. What? Did I change weapon? I did. I'm confused now. Yeah, dating sims have a lot more in common with RPGs. They're more like light RPGs than they are visual novels. But, like, this is where the distinction gets kind of vague and blurry, even for the Japanese, because it's a spectrum more than it is like a broad category. And, like, a lot of this has to do with the fact that Japanese game design is very heavily rooted in, like, its adventure game origins on, like, early PCs and stuff. Turn, dickhead. Thank you. So it's a lot more of a broader thing. And this is why, like, a lot of Japanese games kind of, like, break out of the confines of that space. Because they're more in that, like, adventure game mode of thinking. Where it's more about, like, puzzles and stuff. Yeah, dating sim has stats as a basic separation. Even though not all of them actually, like, have stats necessarily. Like Amagami does not have stats, but that's definitely a dating sim. I don't think Amagami has stats. I mean, you build a deck in Amagami that has, like, conversation topics. So there's still, like, art to the way of conversing. And there are games, like, English language original games that, like, do actually know what this is. Like, play Magical Diary. If you want to play one of those. Like, that has... Technically, you don't really have to date anyone in Magical Diary, but it is strongly implied that you should. Whereas again, that feels more like an adventure game. More than a strict dating sim, precisely. But that's why it's good. That's far too... Oh, that worked! Wow, okay. I really thought that was too far to the left. Persona is said to have dating sim elements, which, again, I don't really find rings true, necessarily. I mean, it rings a bit true, but, like, it's very basic. I don't know, that's not, like, wrong, necessarily, but... I wouldn't say Persona is a dating sim. Has the elements. When is Punch gonna play a new horror game? I played Man of Medan, like, last week. That's new. I played that, like, the day it came out. Come on, cut me a break here. There's not that many horror games that come out. I streamed Catherine Full Body, like, 2 days ago. That's a horror game. It calls itself a horror game. It calls itself Renai Horror. I butchered the pronunciation on that one really hard. Please forgive me. Fucking keys. How'd I like it? Man of Medan or Catherine? "40 Winks is a horror? I don't think so. Did I play Blair Witch yet? I like how that implies that I plan on playing Blair Witch. Hey, Chris. Man of Medan was okay. It has immense potential in the style that it does, and it's a very unique game. Like, there's really nothing else like Man of Medan. It tries some things, it's very interesting, but I don't think Man of Medan is the game that brings out its potential to the fullest. 7 out of 10, but I'm very interested in hoping that they can scale the peak of this, like, this mold's immense potential with the next game. Like, you have my interest, but, like, can you hold it? Like, you gotta step the game up from here. Like, it's like, okay, I'll give you a second game to figure it out. Is this Recce Pace? I'm always on Recce Pace. I'm the record holder. And Catherine Full Body's fucking awesome. I love that game. I love Catherine. Block pushing good. Block pushing fun. Narrative, a bit more hit and miss, but you know, whatever. They can't all be winners, I guess. I have no fucking idea where I am. The camera was not interested in cooperating with me there. Ding dong, ding ding. Any interest in Little Nightmares? A bit, I guess. I don't know. I've seen Little Nightmares. I know they're making a second one. I'm surprised that hit. I thought it was going to be too far. The thing about Little Nightmares that kind of puts me off is that it's got very analog physics, if that makes any sense. Like, things flop and wobble and move at the slightest provocation because it's all sort of, like, realistically handled. Which is part of why the aesthetic is unsettling. Like, that's a deliberate choice. But it makes for, like, a very imprecise-looking game. Which is a bit of a problem because it's a physics platformer. Like, jumping always looked like it was such a weird fucking imprecise act, but it also had, like, a great weight to it. It looked and sounded super good. Like, jumping always felt like an event. Like, it had force, it had impact, but it also looked super imprecise. Please don't own me, buddy. Now, control style swap. Any games I kind of want to play?
Mary?
Horror, not so much, but I want to play River City Girls.
I brought you some flowers.
Just don't know when, and probably I won't stream it.
Want any damn flowers?
Seems like a game I just do on my own time.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look. I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers.
Thing is, River City Girls is like 23 quid, which is, I don't know, like, it's a bit on the high end of what I'm willing to pay for that. Which makes me, that sounds a bit awful, because it's like a 6-hour game, but like, that's kind of short. I know that's about what I paid for Man of Medan as well, and Man of Medan is like significantly shorter. I don't know. I'm weird. That's way too close. Yeah, fucking hell, I knew that was gonna happen. That was dumb, but whatever, it's okay. I think getting grabbed there caused me to miss the 2x, but whatever. Yeah, I missed the 2x for sure. I think I was gonna miss it anyway. Well, whatever, I'll take it. La-di-fucking-da. Sure. Well, the run back was successful. I had a run that was minus 13 that died on the final split because everything just went to shit. And I was very annoyed about it, but immediately the next run was minus 14. I would have gotten a 2x if I didn't get grabbed at the end. I went too close. A little bit further back would have been the trick there.